Hi, welcome to Soup to Nuts. I'm your host, Brian Arusi, along with my father, Oswald Arusi. It's been a while since we've done our last show, and we apologize, so we are excited about doing the show tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be cooking roasted garlic mashed potatoes, and I'm going to take you through that process, starting with roasting the actual garlic. My father's going to be cooking some bottom-of-the-round steak sautéed with some vegetables, simmering in some wine and chicken broth, and he's going to explain how he's going to do that and where we came up with that recipe.
Yeah. It's always nice to be here with Brian. We don't see each other too often now because you're busy and I'm busy on the farm with my garden and with my two dogs, walking them and the animals on the farm. But anyway, we're here tonight. I'm going to attempt to cook two nice little recipes that was taught to me way back when my mother was alive many years ago. I think we'll enjoy that. But as you said, you'll be doing work with the garlic, and you know that I know you like garlic, and that's why I put you in charge of that tonight. You can use as much as you want. I won't be using any garlic at all tonight. So I'd like to begin by showing you this piece of meat here, bottomed around. I think it's important for you shoppers, when you go shopping, to know the cuts of meat and also what to use in different type of cooking methods. This is going to be cooked tonight. It's going to be cooked for about an hour, so it's not a very tender cut of beef. This particular piece comes from the hind quarter of the steer, which encompasses the top of the round, which has the bottom of the round next to it, and in between there's an eye roast, an eye. And the eye is used for a couple of roasts as well as some minute steaks. As you notice here, this part right here is known as the bottom. But somehow they add a piece of this eye roast in there. You people are familiar with the, when you go shopping, this is the eye. It should be very tender when we incorporate it in our cooking tonight. So like I said, it's important when you do show shopping to know the different types of meat to use for the different types of cooking methods. So I'll begin with my oil. I put some oil in the pan. And what kind of a pan are we using, Brian?
We're using a not a non-stick Teflon. We're using a regular metal bottom because the beef sticks to it a lot better and will help us get a nice liquid when we go to deglaze it later. That nice color. If you use a non-stick, you could do it, but it's not as easy to get that brown, and it's not as nice as a metal pan. Nice thing about this pan is I believe that it's one of my grandmother's old pans.
This is one of the old pans she had. I think she probably paid 25 cents for it. She used to love to buy pans and bowls, anything pertaining to cooking, because she was a great cook. And I might find myself doing the same thing. Whenever I go shopping, I find myself looking in the department where all the cooking utensils are, and cooking pans and beautiful bowls. I bought some nice bowls from Italy. I have some nice display at home, and I really enjoy them. So now with this high heat, what I want to do is have this stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit so that when we take this out to incorporate the other vegetables, I can kind of scrape the bottom so it'll be a little, start the process of coloring the different color of this meat, so it'll be nice and brown. Right now she's sticking a little bit, which I want.
Well, there's a little lull there, Dad. We'll jump over. I'm using red bliss potatoes. Due to time constraints, as usual, I quartered them and started boiling them already, and they're almost just about ready to mash. But what we're going to do is to make the roasted garlic, in which many people have probably seen now, have heard about. We're going to roast the actual whole clove of garlic. If the camera can get the shot at this. You got the whole clove. We're going to cut off just enough, just the top, so that all the garlic is exposed. Take that top off to the side, and you're left with all the garlic in here. What we do with this is we take some olive oil, and we drizzle that on top of it. just enough to cover it. So Can I have some salt there, please? We use some salt on here.
Any pepper?
No pepper. We just do a little salt. And you fold it into some tin foil like this. And then you get a nice second fresh piece, and you kind of make a ball like that, if you can see that. Put it in the oven for 350 for 1 hour. They also now sell roasted garlic like this. Has become so popular in a lot of restaurants that they sell in some stores now some terracotta type containers that have a cover on them, and you just do the garlic the same way. You cut it and you put it in these. You put the cover on and roast it the same way. But traditionally, you can use tin foil. And after the hour has passed, this is what you're going to be left with. We also roasted this ahead of time. This is what it looks like. The camera can get it. You want it just to be brown, soft to the touch. The cloves are very soft. And when I ended up mashing the potatoes, we're going to squeeze a few cloves right out into the potatoes and mash it up nice and soft. And that'll make the nice garlic roasted mashed potatoes.
How many cloves are you going to use? 1, 2?
I don't know. It depends how I feel. Maybe half of it. But anyway, we kept the red skin on there because that gives nice color to it and texture. And later on when I mash it, you don't really want to mash completely so it's real fine. You want to leave a few, just like traditionally mashed potatoes. You want to leave a few lumps in there because that gives a nice texture to it. So I'm done with that. Why don't you continue on? I'm going to attempt to strain this here since we didn't remember to bring a strainer tonight.
When you introduced me tonight, you introduced me as Oswald. Maybe the next show, I think I'll tell the story about my real name is not really Oswald, but that's the name that's being used. And I have one little granddaughter that once she found out my name was Oswald, we were coming back from lunch one afternoon. I was sitting in the back seat with her. She was about a little over 4 years old at the time. And she looked at me and she says, "Hi, Oswald." I said, "What did you say?" She says, "Hi, Oswald." "Don't you ever call me Oswald again." She was about a little over 4 years old. She's a little over 6 now, but I'll finish my story about that after I get this going. This is about ready for me to take this out. Put that in there. Put that away for me. As you know, it's kind of a tough piece of beef right now, but after we cook this about an hour, it'll be just like butter. And also all the nice flavoring from what I add to it. Now that I have that, I'm going to add what my mother refers to as in Italian, una, due, tre, 1, 2, 3. When she cooked a lot, she used to always have three vegetables. She used to eat either onions and red peppers and something else. So in this case tonight, I'm having onions with some celery and some nice chopped up carrots. Take that back. The onions and the celery were cooked up in an hour's time to very, very soft and tender. But as you know, carrots has a different consistency, and that won't cook up as soft. They'll still hold its shape. What I'll do when I go to make my gravy, I like pieces of carrots and pieces of celery and onions to show my gravy. If you don't want, you can strain this into a gravy bowl, or you can use a mixer and use a mixer in here and get this kind of nice and smooth. But I like the consistency of the carrots and the onion and the celery.
Okay. I strained the potatoes. In the process of mashing them now, I added Added some butter. Now we're going to add some of the garlic cloves here. Really, what you can do is just...
Take it out by hand and squeeze it.
You can squeeze. I don't want to get you all over your hands either, because you never get that smell off your hands.
It's a healthy smell.
So you just squeeze a few of the cloves out. They pop right out usually.
Nice.
Yeah. So we squeeze those out. And that's it. Very simple mashed potatoes to make.
Keep it a little chunky, right?
Yeah. You don't want to mash these all the way. You want to be a little chunky. Yeah, a little bit more butter. Could add milk if you want. A little bit of milk.
Maybe smooth enough. So while Brian's doing that, I'm going to add some flour. Make like a roux. Couple tablespoons. It's starting to get thick now. Nice, nice.
Add the salt and pepper in.
I gotta add some of this chicken broth to that. And bring that to a boil. Sauce down here somewhere. Bring it to a boil. And then we're going to add something that Brian can talk about, something he's made and very familiar with. I'll go back and you talk about that. That you and Chef Flo made.
Yeah.
Homemade.
He's adding some homemade wine. It's imitation wine, but I did make some homemade wine, as I talked about on some previous shows, which we'll be making again this September. I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to do a little camera documentary on that too, I hope, on the different stages. I'd like to take the camera right into Chelsea, into the actual docks, the New England produce, where we get the grapes, and go through that whole process with you, so it's pretty interesting. But anyway, potatoes are done. We're just going to add some salt and pepper. You could garnish it with a little, you could put scallions in there if you want, a little parsley. But one other thing on the roasted garlic, it's nice to have as an appetizer if you're having a dinner party. Put a few on each table with some nice fresh bread with a little bit of olive oil on the side. Makes a nice side dish. And if you want to roast a few ahead of time, you can also use it to cook with. You take them out, put them in a nice airtight jar with a little oil, cover it, put it in the refrigerator. Now you got something to start all your meals with. And it's really easy to do, and it's real nice for a base to cook with.
Whoop.
You just added some gravy master to get some color there.
I added some gravy master. Now, what I'll do is take the beef and add it back to the that's all there is to it. Now I gotta add one bay leaf to it. Turn this down. Turn this down to a simmer. Talk about the bay leaf.
One bay leaf. One bay leaf goes in, one bay leaf comes out. That's the trick to remember there. You don't want to eat that, so make sure that you
choke.
You choke, and make sure you remember to get it out of there once you're done with it. It gives a nice flavor to it.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover this. As you know, if I let this cook for an hour, uncovered, it's going to reduce the liquids to maybe half. I want to keep the liquids. So by putting the cover on, I stop most of it from dissipating. In 1 hour, we'll have that done. and we'll be able to sit down and enjoy a delicious meal with something else I'm going to show you about. But before we do that, I want to show you something here. That my grandson did as a school project, and that's Michael on camera too. He did this. I thought it was very nice. And there's a story about this I'm going to tell you now. We have time. It's called Soup to Nuts. It's a restaurant. It's a menu. It's by restaurant Soup to Nuts restaurant. It shows Michael's Italian dressing here. Very popular. Very good. I've tasted some of that. Then we have a candle with a wine glass, cheese, and some steaming hot bread. Inside we have a breakfast menu, a luncheon menu, and a dinner menu. Michael's sister Shauna, who I told you before, she told me about St. Oswald to me, and I said, don't you ever call me Oswald again. I went to visit her at the house one day, and she says, Grampy, let's play Soup to Nut Restaurant. I said, Shauna, so you go out in the hallway and come back. I said, Shauna, Grampy's too tired. She said, she always did something that really, really melted me. I said, I'm too tired. She would go down on her knees, and she'd put her hands like this, says, please, Grampy, please. So I melted right away, and I went out to the hallway, came back into the living room, and she waiting for me. She says, how many in your party? I says, 1. So he sat me on the couch. She had the table all set for me with all plastic dishes and cups and silverware and napkins. So I sat there, and she says, would you care for something to drink? I says, yes, I'll have some water. Went over to a table. She got a plastic empty cup, brought it over. She said, there you are. You ready to order now? She says, I'm ready. She says, well, there's your menu. And I saw this for the first time. I was really impressed. So I ordered from the menu. When I get through, she said, well, you care for coffee and dessert? I said, no, I think I'm all set. So I'll bring you your bill. And I'll bring you some real money, nickels, dimes, quarters, and pennies. He says, pay the bill with this real money and leave me a real good tip. So I paid for the bill and left her a good tip. Now she said, it's my turn to go out in the hall. I said, Sean, Grampy's too tired. Please, Grampy, please. Goes out in the hall. I meet her when she comes in. I said, I'm in your party. She says, 2. 2? She says, yes, I have my little baby here. So she had a little doll on the arm. She sat down. She said, will you give me a high chair, please? I said, high chairs? No high chairs here. Grampy, there's a high chair behind my playhouse, behind all those toys. You can find it. There were more toys there than Toys R Us has. So I did find the high chair, brought it out. She sat a doll in the high chair. She says, would you get some milk for my baby, please? Went over to the table, got an empty cup, brought it back. She said, thank you. She said, would you give me some real water, please? I said, Shawnee, what do you mean by real water? I mean water from the kitchen. So I went out to the kitchen, got a cup, went to the kitchen faucet, poured some water, came back in, gave it to her. We ordered the food. She didn't want any dessert. She said, will you give me the real money so I can pay for this? So I gave her the real money. She paid for the meal. She got up with a doll. She came to me, walked by me, tapped me on the shoulder. She says, I did not leave you a tip. I said, why didn't you leave me a tip? Because you didn't give me real water. I gave you real water. She said, no, you didn't. She says, you gave me water from the kitchen sink, from the faucet. I wanted water from the brand new refrigerator we have that has a spigot there. You can push a button and water comes out, ice cold. Another button for ice. It says, that's real water. So she walked off about 5, 6 feet. She turned around. She says, hi, Oswald. After 2 years, she finally came back, remembered, hi, Oswald, and she ran off into the kitchen. There's more to the story, but we can't say any more now because we're
going to take a break.
Take a break.
We're going to take a break right now, and we'll come back and show you what else we're going to do, a little side dish with it. One other thing, too, I'm going to mention my website again. We have a website up and running. It's www.souptonuts.com. Barbara will flash the web address for you. We've had some emails, which I encourage, and I thank the people that have sent emails requesting some recipes and anyone else that would like to have us cook something of their wishes on this show, we definitely encourage that. And we like the interaction, and we want to thank people for sending the emails. We're also going to be having a sponsor page on that, so anybody that is interested can call me at the number on the page, and we can discuss that more with you. So right now, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
It was called the greatest generation any society has ever produced. They were ordinary people who half a century ago did nothing less than help save the world. Millions served in uniform, millions more served at home, and nearly 500,000 gave their lives. And yet there is no national memorial to honor their sacrifice. It is time to say thank you.
Call now and help build the National World War II Memorial.
Hi, welcome back. Right now we're going to show you how the beef's coming along here. And it's coming along nicely. It's been in there now about a half hour. Still a little firm. You want to keep it in for another half hour so it's nice and tender at the end. Potatoes are done. We're going to plate those up later. What we're going to do now is we have a vegetable here that we're going to serve also with the dish. And it's sauteed or fried breaded carrots. Nice thing about this is a great way to get your kids to eat vegetables if they don't really eat vegetables that much. This kind of masks the taste. It makes it taste a little bit better. You can even drizzle some cheese on there, and it makes it taste really good. So my father's going to show you through how you go about doing that.
You notice this dish right here? You see this dish right here? This is, I cooked this earlier so we'll have some ahead of time. It does take a little time to cook this. But see the golden brown? I can make a meal just having a few of these. They're delicious. So to get it to this point, all you do is boil some carrots up. Boil them so they're still a little firm because you'll be cooking them in oil. So what you do is you boil them, cut them in half, and you just put them in some flour. I usually put them in a bag, but I don't have a bag here tonight, so I just dredge it in flour. And then what I do, I have some one egg that I got from fresh from the farm this morning, so I know it's a nice fresh egg. I get some breadcrumbs that I grated myself, fresh breadcrumbs. The reason I mention that because it's different between using fresh eggs and fresh breadcrumbs because the texture and the taste of it is altogether different. How do I get fresh breadcrumbs? Well, I get some Fremian bacon bread, and if I don't use it up all one day or 3 days or a week, I put it in a paper bag, and I grind it. Now, if you want to go through that process, just go to Fremian Baker, and they sell fresh ground breadcrumbs. Use it, you'll find a much, much, much different texture. So from there, I go into the egg rather, and from the egg, I go into this fresh breadcrumbs. Oh, the oil is hot.
You want this to keep the beef on, right?
Just low, yeah.
Yeah, that's hot. Watch out, it's popping.
So I'm not sure if the oil is hot enough yet, so I'm gonna...
It is.
Just right. You take these and you put them in. Let's bring it down a little bit.
What other type of vegetables could we do this with? Obviously,
She's done it with...
we can do that with eggplant. You know what
definitely eggplant.
You know what a good one is, too, is if you like artichokes.
Artichokes.
Artichoke hearts that come in the jar. Progresso sells them. Take the artichokes out of the liquid, do the same process with the flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, and cook them in the oil. I had them before in the North End, and I tell you, it tastes like, doesn't even taste like artichokes. It tastes like, they're so tender, it tastes like chicken.
We've done it with cauliflower. Cauliflower is another vegetable that most children don't like because, you know, it's kind of bland, but you take it and you cook it, like I say, boil it, cool it down, and just cut them in slices or pieces and the flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, and cook in oil again.
One other one that I like to do, which we do at home, is zucchini or summer squash, one or the other. Take one of them. You don't even have to pre-boil them, parboil them. You cut them real thin. Do the same process as far as the bread, the flour, and the egg, and saute them like this, one at a time, or a few on a plate. A little salt. Another way I like to do it is just put them in a baking dish, slice them up, put them in. You don't even really need the egg. Just put them in the little breadcrumbs, or you could do egg if you'd like. Throw them into the baking dish. Put a little grated Romano Parmesan cheese in there with it, mix it up. You bake it in the oven for about a half hour on 350. They get nice and soft and crunchy, and you serve that as a side dish. Really nice. Similar to that. That's what I use the most is zucchini with that. Makes a nice cheese and zucchini side.
Nice.
Real good. Healthy, too.
Very, very nice, very inexpensive, and easy to make. It all takes a little time. And like I said, it cooked quite rapidly because the carrots have been pot boiled, and you know, egg in a batter like this will cook quite rapidly. This is almost done. What I'll do after, so when you make things like this, we have little eggs left over, little breadcrumb left over. What you do is just put them together, and put them together, and you just form them with your hands after when I'm ready to put them into the hot oil, and that's what these are. We don't waste anything. See this here? Right here.
Mac, this Mac got a shot.
See how nice that is? And when these are hot, it's almost like a piece of bread to go with your meal. You can cut it up in your dish, or you can just eat it like that. I love those.
All right, right now what we're going to do is finish up these carrots. We're going to take another real quick break, we promise, and we're going to plate everything up and show you what the final dish altogether is going to look like. So come right back with us. We'll be right back. Hello again, welcome back. Everything's all set. We're going to show you the finished product and what it looks like. We have it all plated up right over here. The camera's going to get a shot.
We have the bottom around that's been cooked for about an hour. And I told you about the vegetables, the carrots, the celery, and the onions. It's just about, if you look at it in the gravy, it's just about all dissolved. It's a beautiful gravy. Goes very nice with this potatoes that Brian made, the garlic potatoes. And these are all set to go. The carrots have been cooked. Like I said before, these are very nice. We just cooked one a little while ago. One of my favorites. I'm ready to eat.
All right, thanks for watching the show. We'll be on again. We're going to be doing some fish on the next few shows, some grilled tuna and some haddock. So.
And also, there's a real story about my name, Oswald. Next show, it's not Oswald. And Michael, don't call me Oswald.
All right, Oswald.
All right.
He's my grandson.
Also, watch my brother Lieutenant Irusi's grill safety show. That's also on Channel 8. It's a pretty good informational show for your kids and family. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Arrivederci.
Send us some emails.
Brian's a student that I had in my resource class. Came from a very poor background. Brian just needed a friend, so we paired him with a community leader. He would take him to rodeos, and then he would take him to plays and different things that this child would never have been exposed to. This man taking his time to come and have lunch with him meant more than anything.
Point a kid in the right direction. This is General Colin Powell of America's Promise. Call us and help keep America's Promise.